All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about men's health today, but we're cutting through all the noise and confusion. This is your no-nonsense guide, a framework that actually makes sense.
So, when you hear the term men's health, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most guys, it's pretty much one thing, right? Sexual function. But what if that's just the warning light on the dashboard? What if it's actually an indicator for everything else going on in your body?
This quote from urologist Dr. Alexander Dazaria, it just nails it. Think about it. For everything to work the way it's supposed to in the bedroom, your blood vessels, your nervous system, your hormones, they all have to be playing on the same team. It's not some isolated issue. It's a direct reflection of your total overall health.
That brings us to our very first pillar. And honestly, this is the most important one of all. You can forget all the fancy supplements, the complicated routines. The absolute, non-negotiable foundation of your health is sleep.
You've probably never heard of the glymphatic system, but you need to know about it. It's basically your brain's nightly cleaning crew. When you're in a deep sleep, your nerve cells actually shrink a little, which lets this fluid wash through and clear out all the metabolic junk that built up during the day. If you don't get that deep sleep, your brain is just left stewing in its own waste. And the result? That brain fog, that bad memory, that's what that is.
So, how do you get this brain-cleaning system to work for you? Well, the rules are shockingly simple. First, you've got to have a consistent bedtime. Your body craves routine. Second, total darkness. I mean, pitch black. Even a tiny bit of light can mess with your hormones. Third, complete silence. That means no falling asleep with the TV on. And fourth, a cool room with some fresh air if you can get it.
Okay, but what about sleeping pills? Can't you just take one of those? Well, think of it like this. Using a pill is like seeing the check engine light on in your car and just putting a piece of black tape over it. Sure, you can't see the warning anymore, but you sure as hell haven't fixed the engine. Natural sleep actually restores your system. Medicated sleep just silences the alarm. Next up, let's talk about pillar number 2, nutrition. And please, forget all the complicated, trendy diets. This philosophy is so simple, it cuts right through all that confusion.
Here's the rules straight from Dr. Dazaria. Before you eat something, just ask yourself a simple question. Could I have caught this thing and killed it? Or could I have planted this thing in the ground and grown it? If the answer is yes, you're good to go. It's really that straightforward. So what does that look like in practice? Well, fish, meat, eggs, yep, you can catch or raise those. Vegetables, buckwheat, yep, you can grow those. But like the source says, a cheesecake. Well, a cheesecake has never been spotted running wild in a field. It's a man-made, processed product. The closer your food is to how it started, the better off you're going to be.
Pillar number 3 is exercise. But hold on, we're not talking about getting six-pack abs or getting huge. We need to reframe exercise as what it really is, an essential engine for living a long, healthy, and most importantly, functional life.
When you look at what really predicts a long and healthy life, it boils down to these 3 things. And what's wild is how connected they all are. In fact, preserving your brain and that sense of purpose, it's directly tied to that very first item on the list, preserving your muscle mass.
Why is muscle so ridiculously important? Because of this thing called sarcopenia. It's a fancy word, but all it means is that after you turn 40, your body naturally starts to lose muscle. This isn't about looking good at the pool. Your muscle is like your body's protein piggy bank. It's the resource you draw on to recover from getting sick or having surgery. A doctor can often tell how well a patient will recover just by looking at their muscle mass. It's that critical. So what's the prescription here? It's not about becoming a bodybuilder. It's all about balance. Strength training is what sends the signal to your body. Hey, we need this muscle. Don't get rid of it. Cardio and interval training are for your heart health, the engine. And stretching, that keeps you mobile. You need all 3 to keep that longevity engine running smoothly.
All right, this brings us to what might be the most controversial part of this whole discussion: hormones and all those biohacks you hear about. I mean, in the search for feeling young and vital, a shortcut is always going to be tempting. Let's separate the hype from the actual science.
This quote is designed to stop you in your tracks. It flips the whole conversation on its head. So many people think of growth hormone as some kind of fountain of youth, but the evidence, it just doesn't point that way. The source actually brings up studies of people who are born with growth hormone deficiencies, and guess what? They tend to have lower rates of cancer. So the takeaway is, forcing this stuff into your body might actually be like hitting the fast-forward button on aging.
And what about testosterone? This is where you have to understand a really, really important trade-off. Testosterone replacement therapy absolutely can improve your quality of life. It can give you more energy, make you feel better. But, and this is a huge but, it will not improve your quantity of life. People get those two things confused all the time. Feeling better today isn't the same thing as living longer tomorrow.
So let's be crystal clear here. This is never a casual decision you make on your own. Hormone therapy should only ever be considered under strict medical supervision and only after you check these 3 boxes. 1, you need lab work that confirms you have a real clinical deficiency. 2, a doctor has to confirm there are no medical reasons you shouldn't do it. And 3, and this is the most important one, it's a last resort. Only after you have truly, honestly optimized your sleep, your diet, and your exercise, and you're still having issues.
Okay, we have covered a lot. Sleep, diet, exercise, hormones. I get it. It can feel pretty overwhelming. Like, where do I even start? So let's stop talking about what to do and start talking about how to actually do it.
I want you to really let this quote sink in. Because when we think about making a big change, it can feel like we're just staring up at this giant, impossible to climb brick wall. The secret is to stop seeing it as a wall. It's not a wall, it's a staircase, made up of a bunch of small, totally manageable steps.
Your goal isn't to be perfect overnight. It's just to take one step. You know, the biggest enemy of actually making progress is that classic line, "I'll start on Monday." That's a trap, procrastination. The only real time to start is tomorrow.
So, I'll leave you with this question. Don't worry about the entire staircase. Forget about the top. Just focus on the very first step. What is the one single small thing you are going to do tomorrow to start your climb? Are you going to go to bed 15 minutes earlier? Are you going to swap that afternoon bag of chips for an apple? Just decide on one thing. That's it. That's your first step.